back to the studio audience. We appreciate y'all so much for coming here.
This is Nancy from Texas.
Hi. How are you?
Not sure yet.
I'm going to ask something serious, I promise.
Okay.
We were talking earlier, and this is kind of what y'all were mentioning, I think, on the show previously, when you said that Austin was an oasis of blue and a sea of red. And we talked about that in the back between shows and stuff. And I'm wondering if everybody who's different leaves the sea of red, which is where I live in the Bible Belt, and they don't stay, how does that change?
Yeah, I mean, Austin is very much a beacon city, like in particular for the queer community. I mean, if you look at just how vibrant the burlesque scene is, all of these different like very queer events here in Austin, this is the place, I mean, myself included. I grew up just an hour from here in the shadow of the bright lights of the big city, wishing for a safe place to be. And on a certain sense, it's like every election cycle we hear about, oh, well, if this happens, I'm moving to Canada. And that kind of always goes on. But I hear the fear because it does feel like recently it's gone from people griping, people claiming that they're going to leave, to me having many personal friends and acquaintances and coworkers and people in my life who are packing up their shit and leaving because they're terrified of our governor. They're terrified of our governance in general. Where does all that lead? I mean, I don't know, Jim. What do you feel?
I feel the same way. I dug in because that's my home. I'm born and raised there. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to leave because if I leave, who takes up the fight?
Right.
So I wasn't going to do that. But now I'm just like, I'm only going to get one life. And I don't know that I want to fight anymore. I want to go and enjoy it. I fought for 40 years, while everybody else left. Every gay friend I had left, every trans friend I had left, every atheist friend I had left, because they didn't want to stay and fight. And I'm like, our community would be different if they hadn't left.
Well, that's true.
So I tend to blame both sides because of it.
Yeah. I think the problem is that, Christy and I have made a choice, and all the hosts on all the shows have made a choice to be out and in the fight. And that is not a choice everybody wants to make. Not everybody wants to do that. It's up to each individual to choose what they're willing to risk and what they're willing to put up with. If you're a gay person out in East Texas, how you can stay there and fight, but how do you have a life? How do you have a partner? How do you find?
That's true.
How do you get traction on the fight that you're fighting?
Because I know some who do, but it's rare.
Well, I mean, they're going to end up being queer people everywhere. We're making more every single day, and so it's inevitable that not everybody can run away from the thing that they want to run away from. It basically boils down to what do we owe each other? I mean, Jim, in the time you and I have been doing this, how many really wonderful, dedicated, hardworking, committed activists have we seen either burn out or move on or just finish their time? And you have to make space for that. You have to make space for that, not just in this type of like organized activism, but even in the day-to-day thing of, not feeling safe when you need to pull over to go to the bathroom somewhere, not feeling safe walking into a grocery store or a hardware store or wherever else. We should all fight for representation. We should all fight for our right to take up space. But I think we also have permission to lay down arms and, I don't know, what's the fantasy? Move to Canada every once in a while?
South Pacific.
There's room for that, yeah. Cancun. I guess I want to die and or retire and move to Cancun.
Right. And I think, too, as more and more people move out because of the diehards that are left, they self-isolate and they eventually go away and other people will move in because property gets cheap because they've gone away. And so you may end up with people moving back for those reasons. But I don't think there's a good answer to that because we can't force people to make a choice to stay and fight when they don't want to, when they feel their lives are on the line. And there was a time when that wasn't the case. I went to high school in Abilene, Texas. It's just a couple hours west of us, right? And the acceptance of the gay community was begrudgingly there. I won't say that it was enthusiastic by any stretch of the imagination, But I don't know of any gay people who were truly afraid of being shot and killed on a daily basis, like I think they do today. Did they want to get caught anywhere near the football team? No. So there was still a little threat of violence there, but it's not like it was today. And I don't think
I
it's
feel
as
the same
persistent.
way. I think it's more present, and that's my consideration too, because I'm now to the point where I'm like, I don't see it improving, and I want to go too, because why should I spend the next 40 years doing what I've done this 40 years?
Right.
It's how much do you give it?
Yeah, and that's the question for everybody. You can give as much as you can, however you can. That goes back to the things we ask of our viewers, like and subscribe. But, if you decide not to because you realize that YouTube is tracking that and you don't want that to happen, I don't blame you. I don't blame you in this environment at all. Same thing with a lot of things. If you decide not to do certain things because I think there's legitimate fear everywhere. And so, yeah, I think that because of that, because people are tired, there are people in the LGBTQ community who have been fighting this fight since the 70s. And before, there are people before that. I'm saying they were born in the 60s, and then the 70s and the 80s, and now look where we are today. And we've taken these huge steps backward. Yeah. And for all those people, I'm just like, you're still in the fight. You are absolutely amazing, and you're far stronger than I am, because I'm
Sure.
at that same point, right? Ready to kick in that towel. And so we need to make sure that those people recognize that they are appreciated by a few of us, at the very least. Some of those old dogs in this fight, and make sure that the new dogs are getting what they want. Never ever underestimate the power of a healer, of someone who's just willing to give somebody water, and to just say, hey, that was a good job, and we'll get to the cheerleaders and the people in the background you never see. For us, that's all the crew. But you know what? There's people you still don't see that help put these shows on and help do a lot of work in the ACA. Can I call you out? Can I call you out? Okay. Larry Gleason. I wanted to make sure. Larry, some of you guys may know him. He has been around for a long time, and he is one of the unsung heroes. I think that's the first time you've ever been on camera, isn't it, Larry? And he was there as a questioner. And and Larry is a huge force in the ACA. He's done our books and done so much, and he's one of those unsung heroes. And I don't know what he feels about it, but as a former board member, I can tell you that he has done a ton of work for free for us. And I think we've paid him a little bit too, but I don't think we've paid him what he's worth. But there are people like that everywhere, right? And so if you're looking for something to do that is very low key and low risk, either go be one of those people in the very, very background, or go help those people that are in the background. Mm-hmm. Right? We all get.
I help you.
Yeah, I know. So, that's my girlfriend, by the way. That's why I was so nervous about her question. But that's the
He's afraid right now. That's the problem, and he has every right to be. He has to ride home with me.
Yeah, there's no mute button on this one, so I can't get it to quiet either. I've got the big microphone, hon. Remember that?
Yes, but you're trapped behind glass. Remember that?
Yeah, thankfully. So anyway, getting back to the topic, everybody, even if what you can give is just showing up at a show, or going to a conference and walking around and supporting a conference, or anything along those lines, there is no too little to help out. And there's a lot of burnout right now. We look at the Supreme Court and we go, oh my God. But you know what? We need to kind of start talking to our representatives and say, hey, maybe we need to put some more people on the Supreme Court. What are you guys going to do about it? What are we going to do about the situation we're in? Right? And I have to be kind of careful because this is a nonprofit. But those are the things we need to do. And sometimes throwing in the towel and going to Cancun, that's a thing, right?
I'm all for that one.
Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's the best answer we can give. Is there is nothing we can do except give as much support to those people who are in the fight.
Then I guess what you're saying is prioritize self over changing the country.
Can't take
Or
care
at
of
the very
anybody.
least, keep yourself in mind,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a trade-off for sure, but working as a counselor,
Well, in my
burnout is
case,
a
I
big part of
think
what we talk about.
I have to prioritize self because my job is already going to suck out everything else. So
Right? Yeah.
I don't think I can keep up the fight for the country and save lives. I think I have to pick one.
Yep.
So
There's a balancing act for all of us, and just to stress that taking care of yourself is not a inherently selfish or immoral act. It is instead a vital and necessary one. And so I hope that everybody will continue to think about, well, do I feel safe living here? What can I contribute to my community? But also, what do I need to just stay safe and stay sane and keep contributing, whatever that might look like for you?
thanks, honey.
All right, thanks.